that I valued most about Dalton was, I think, the people. I think something that I always cherished was like having people sing happy birthday to the tour guides, even though it was never the tour guides' birthdays. And I mean, obviously, like when I eventually became a tour guide myself, I think that that's something that I grew to appreciate more. But it's like, as an 8th grader, I think that was something that felt very warm. Like I could feel it between the students and each other, as well as like the students and the teachers. And I think that that's something that I always cherished, having that community feel, even though the school was a bit larger. Dalton, again, also just was a great stepping stone for preparing me to just be more assertive in terms of what I wanted and sort of the places that I wanted to be. I think that's part of the reason why I chose Dalton, in that I knew that, especially with elements like lab, where it's like, okay, well, you have that emphasis on reaching out to your teachers and having that, again, like that connection between them. I think that that's something that I wanted. I wanted to be in a space where I still felt comfortable talking with professors about questions, or outside of classes, like if I wanted to learn more about something. I think Dalton felt like a place to do that, where I could go and I could meet with teachers to work on writing or ask about science questions or things like that, because it always felt as though they were there for you as opposed to just going to teach you their subject. Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts of the Dalton plan was lab. I think it took me a while to fully appreciate it, because I was always, like in 9th grade especially, shy about going to labs and asking questions about things that I was stuck on, but I think I grew to appreciate it more with time. Again, something that was really special for me was going to meet with one of my English teachers, Mr. Hood, to talk about like my poetry. And that was just being able to book time during the week to say, hey, even in semesters when you're not actually my teacher, I can take the time to talk to you, and that like I know that you're here for me in this aspect, was something that I didn't know other schools that had something like that. I think that I was best prepared for college from Dalton through, again, that element of like asserting myself, knowing that, hey, if I want to go and I want to take part in this club, if I want to start this club, if I want to take this class, I know I can do it. It helped you to prepare to advocate for yourself in a way that like some other people that I know in college like still can't do. It's something that I was talking to a professor about, oh, I really enjoy it. Like, I think your class is super interesting. Can you tell me more about this? And then having them say, oh, like you came up to me in a polite way, you talked through this in like a clear and concise manner. I really appreciate how you like approach this like conversation. And I think that that's something that Dalton helped to prepare me to do. English teachers were my favorite when I was in middle school. And coming to Dalton, I think it was sort of the same way. I think that Dalton for me changed the way that I was writing, because it showed me that poetry especially could be a way to see the world rather than just writing about things that were inside my head.
In my dreams, I keep running down a staircase to find another self at the bottom of the steps, behind an impenetrable glass.
So another interest that I think that Dalton helped me to identify was, I think, my interest in neuroscience. A common theme that I felt in a lot of my classes at Dalton was, I guess, the idea of how we make decisions, as well as some of the consequences of those decisions. I felt that in my world history classes. I felt that in my science classes as well. And I think that having Dalton to link all of those different ideas across subjects made it so that way I was curious about where I could go with that field. And it's something that I'm still trying to explore now with neuroscience, but I think that if it wasn't for Dalton and having that like focal thread be linked across different subjects, I don't think I would have been able to identify that as an area that I want to explore. So this summer, I'm going to be doing an internship with a business, talking about how neuroscience can inform their leadership strategies, as well as just how we think about group dynamics and interpersonal communication as well. Again, having an environment like Dalton that prepares you for going out and constantly asking people questions, or constantly making labs with teachers and being able to say, oh, I am really curious about this, but I'm not sure where to start. How can you help me find that place? And I think that that's sort of what led me to where I am now. I think the most memorable project for me from high school was my senior thesis. And that was through the creative writing program. I took senior thesis workshop. in the spring of my senior year. Something that I really valued was when I had the entire wrestling team come out to hear me read some of my work. It wasn't something that I asked them to do. It was something that our coach, Coach Coles, just thought of. Being able to look out and see all the friendly faces as I was reading is something that I'm always going to cherish, because that's one of the best memories that I think of when I think of Dalton, because I know that that's what the school's about. I think that the students will try to do so many different things, but at the end of the day, you know that they will always be there for you. And I think that I felt that in that moment more than I've probably ever felt that.